Welcome to day 11 of our 60 Days Excel Mastery Challenge. Today, we'll be talking about how to create a simple budget template in Excel. You can see our summary and what we created here already. Okay, this is our entry book, and this is a summary to tell us how our budget is performing. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is to put together your budget items, okay? So you can basically categorize your budget items like we've done here. We've done housing, entertainment, transportation, savings and investment, personal care, and food, okay? So you can basically come up with your budget items as it suits you. So now the second thing will be for us to type it in as we have done, format it appropriately. So we'll still go into part of the formatting, okay? Let us merge our titles. We will highlight the entire range we want to merge. You come to your home tab. On merge and center, click the drop down and say merge across because we don't actually want to center it. We just want it to be merged across. So we will do the same thing for all of them. So now that we are done merging across, we'll put them in borders. We'll highlight the range you want to put in borders. Okay. So for this housing range, everything around basically what we have done here. So to pick a simple border, you just click the drop down on the border and just pick all borders. Okay. So you can have all of these borders. You may want to add a fill here to make it a little bit fancy. So you click on the cell you want to add a fill, go to the fill color here, click the drop down and select a color of choice. Okay, let's say we are selecting this blue. When you select your color of choice, you see that it's hiding your text because it doesn't have a contrasting color. So still highlighted, go to the font color, click the drop down and select a contrasting color. For instance, in this case, white. Okay. Now on the subtotal, you may want to do the same thing. So click, hold, and drag to highlight. All right. Then apply the same fill color, still highlighted. Go ahead and pick the same font color. So let's click on the area we want to copy, the formatting. Double click on Format Painter so that we can easily just drop it across without clicking one after the other. Okay, so click to remove the Format Painter or disengage the Format Painter. For this subtotal row, I will highlight it again so that I double click on Format Painter so that I can easily copy the formatting. In the projected cost and actual cost, as well as the difference, we want to make sure we format so that when we impute figures, it can pick up the currency of choice. So we will be using Naira as our currency of choice, okay, so that you will see how to impute Naira as well as other currencies. So you highlight it on your home tab, you go to the numbers group, click the drop down to go to more formatting, or you click on this more button here on number formats to get more. Okay, so now we want to go to currency, click the drop down on symbol. You can see many other currencies. So scroll down until you see Nigeria. I'm going to pick Nigeria Igbo, then click OK. So if I enter any value here now, it's going to come up with the Nigerian Naira symbol. So if I say 2000, for instance, you're going to see it's going to come out with the Nigerian Naira symbol. So any value I put, basically, we are done with formatting. What is left is basically entering the formulas. So we are going to be indicating the difference between the projected and the actual cost. So it will be as simple as coming to the difference here, okay? Say equals, we want the difference between the projected cost minus the actual cost. This is what we want as the difference, right? So we are done with that. We go ahead and hit enter. Then to autofill it, in this case, we'll take our cursor here to this box, click, hold, and drag to fill up the areas where we want it to be. So now our subtotal, we will use the sum function. The sum function calculates the total, right, of our difference. Okay. So let us go ahead and now enter the sum function. We'll say equals sum, open parentheses. We can just click, hold, and drag up onto this level to cover the range for our sum. Close the parentheses and hit enter. We will also like to calculate the total projected cost as well as the total actual cost. So you can enter the same formula, equals to sum, open parentheses. We'll highlight the entire area, close the parentheses and hit enter. Then we'll now drag to fill the other areas. You see now this becomes sum of C3 to C11, actually showing that it covered this range correctly. Okay, so we can go ahead and do the same for the other sections. So for the entertainment section, we can just easily go on and say equals sum, open brackets, click, hold, and drag under the projected cost range, close the bracket, hit enter. Then you can click here, right? Hold and drag to cover the entire areas we want to calculate the sum for. So since I am showing you how to create templates, it's only fitting that I show you how to keep these templates clean. There are no values here in our projected cost and actual cost, and that is why we have zeros here. But since we are learning how to create the template, so we can as well just do away with the zeros so that when we just input values, the results can just show up here. So let's go ahead and remove the zeros using Excel settings. So we'll go to File, okay? Then we'll head on to More, okay? So we'll click on Options, okay? Then from Options, we'll click on Advanced. Then scroll down to Display Options. Under Display Options for this worksheet, we want to uncheck Show a zero in cells that have zero values. We want to uncheck that. So once we uncheck that, we click OK. You see that the zeros are gone, but the formulas are still here. Our formulas are still intact, okay? What we can do now is to go ahead and fill up the values. All right, now, so we have filled our data and you can see our formulas are working correctly, all right? Is able to calculate the difference between the projected cost and the actual cost. You can see that we have negative values where the actual cost is higher than the projected cost, okay? So what is next is for us to actually create a simple summary of all of these so that we can see the summary of our expenditure, okay? So let's go to the summary sheet to create our summary. In our summary sheet, we want to have an overview of our income. Let's say salary. Then we can say side hustle, right? Okay, we want to merge this. Okay, so say merge across. Then we want to remember how we did this. Make it bold, okay? Adjust the row width so that it's bigger, okay? Click the drop down on the font size to adjust the font so that it looks big, okay? We want to also adjust this font. Let's make it, it's a summary, so we have to make it look good. We can basically just merge these rows. So let's merge and center, highlight again and merge and center. Okay, we can give all gray fill so that it looks good. Okay, then let's have a total income here. So because we merged these two, let's go ahead and merge these, merge and center so that our total income will be here. Let's make this white while also maintaining this blue. Make it bold, okay? So we have something that looks good, right? Okay. Under the income here, we want to see how we fared. Say we calculate a total projected cost, as well as a total actual cost, as well as total difference, okay? So we will do that now, and we'll call that costs. Okay, let's call it cost. We can just go ahead and enter costs. Okay, and what we'll do is to copy this formatting here, come to Format Painter, click it, and let's paste here. Easy, we have copied that formatting. Then let's enter everything we need. And what we need here will be our total projected cost. Okay, we'll also need our total actual cost, then total difference. So because we want to put a total by the side, so what we'll do is that we have a good formatting here. We will just have to copy this formatting. So let us click here and click on the Format Painter to copy this formatting here. So I'll just click, hold, and drag to apply across because of the size of the column. So what we need to do is to highlight it, then come between column A and B, let our cursor be this way, double click, and it will automatically adjust the size of the column to match the content of our column. So I can copy this formatting too, click on Format Painter, then drag it across to copy the formatting so that we are productive, we'll be fast or faster that way. Okay, so what we want to do under is also to calculate our balance. So say balance slash status. We copy this formatting now, copy it and paste it here. So we want to have our balance here and we want to have status here. So Excel already knows what our formatting looks like and see can easily apply it as we move along. So let us copy this formatting here now. Click on Format Painter, click, hold, and drag to apply. Okay, it's applied correctly. So what is left is for us to impute the values, okay? But before we impute the values, let us format so that we have our currency correctly entered. Okay, so let's enter what our salary looks like. Let's say you earned 450,000 Naira monthly. If you ever see this, that is to say that the cell width is smaller than the content, or the content is larger than the cell width. So our side hustle, let's say we earn, say, around 350 from our side hustle. So we want to calculate the total of our salary and side hustle. So say equals sum. So whether uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter here in Excel. So sum, click, hold, and drag, close the parentheses, and hit enter. So we have our total. So if you want our total to have a similar formatting with this, you can as well do it so that to make it stand out, right? So let's make it stand out. Now, our total projected cost, actual cost, and total difference cost will come from our order sheet. And so let us rename this sheet and call it our entry sheet. There are two ways to rename a sheet. You can either right click and pick rename, or double click on the sheet name, backspace, and then enter the new title of your sheet. So we'll say is entry book. But the best practice in actually naming a sheet is to ensure that you don't have a space between the 2 or 3 words, whatever you use in naming it. So we want to ensure that if you want a space between it, you make sure you use underscore, okay? Hold down Shift and your dash key on your keyboard, you'll be able to enter the underscore. This makes it easy when you want to refer to the sheet from another sheet, okay? And that's what we'll be doing. So let's go to our summary sheet now. We want to put in the total projected cost. Because we want to put in the total projected cost, we have a lot of projected costs, right? You can see projected cost from different sections, okay? So we want to calculate the total projected cost. So to calculate total projected cost, we go ahead, click on where we want to impute our formula and say equals sum, right? We use sum to calculate total. Open the parentheses. Now, we could just have entered the numbers or the range if it was in the same sheet. But since it's not in the same sheet, we'll click on the new sheet name. You can see the formula continues. You say equals sum entry book. So we go ahead and click on the first projected cost, right? Hold down your control, click on the second one, right? You can see, okay, it's adding comma for you because you held down your control. Take your hands off your control on your keyboard, scroll to the next projected cost, hold down your control, click again, you see it has entered. Still holding down your control, click on another projected cost, click another, and click the last one, then close your parentheses, then hit enter. When you hit enter, you see we have calculated the entire projected cost. Let's do the same for total actual cost. So we'll say equals sum, open your parentheses, click on the sheet where you have entered your data, click on this sheet. Make sure you don't overclick or click on wrong places. If not, your formulas won't be correct. So you see equal to sum, we are an entry book. So we want to get the actual cost now. So click on the first actual cost, hold down control on your keyboard, click on the second, still holding down control, keep clicking. I'll click on this one again, still holding down control, and this one still holding down control. Then we go ahead and close our parentheses and hit enter. You see, we now have our new total actual cost. So we'll do the same for the total difference. So we have our total difference now, okay? So this was our projected cost. This was our actual cost. And this is the difference between total projected cost and the actual cost. The other simple way you can just do is to directly calculate the difference between this total projected cost from this total actual cost, okay? And how you can do that is just, let's take away this formula now and say equals the total projected cost minus the total actual cost. You hit enter, you see it's going to give us the same value, okay? Then for our balance now, we want to know what is left after we subtract our total cost from our total income, okay? So let's do the balance now. We'll say equal our total income minus our total actual cost, hit enter, and then we have our balance. So I'll be introducing you to a logical formula for us to calculate our status. If our total actual cost here is less than our total projected cost, the value, if true, will be still under budget. Hold down your shift and close quote, comma, the next will enter, this is a single argument, the next will enter will be value if false. So hold down your shift, open quotes, and the value if false will be overspending because we want to say if it's less than, we are still under budget, but if it's the other way around, greater than this, we are overspent. So close our bracket and hit enter. The status says we are still under budget.